Okay, check this out. I'm here with a gentleman named Jimbo. He operates a professional mobile detailing business out of Seal Beach, which is...
The professional part is question.
Oh, professional, yes. Based on who you ask, right?
Master detailer.
Master detailer, yes. We can find over-embellished labels for ourselves all
sure.
day long.
Yeah.
So, a couple things. First off, we got to do a shout out because when we arrived here today, you told me that you saw a post on Facebook.
Yeah, you had just posted your video. Your Optimum no rinse video, and
you told me about a group called Waterless and Rinseless Detailers group on Facebook.
Yep, and someone posted your video there, and I thought it was kind of cool, and so I posted like, hey, cool, random, I'm going to meet with Darren later. And then a couple comments ensued. So
we are giving you a shout out, guys, to Abram Larless. Sorry.
We couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, we couldn't figure it out. We're not that sharp. We're sharp, but not that sharp. Yes. So lower your expectation, guys.
Please, way lower.
And a shout out to Nate and Stace Chalmers, who asked about the uniform.
Yeah, he liked your shirt.
So let's start with yours, which is very professional.
Well, I told him about it. I said, hey, this is where I go.
Okay.
I go to Queensboro.com. I don't get
Never heard of it.
Okay. They were running a Facebook ad one day, and it said like $10 embroidered shirt. And I was like, I'm in.
Smoking deal.
So
sign me up.
I got it, and the shirts were fine. $10. I got 6 of them.
I mean, can I see what
this
brand?
One's Nike, so this I upgraded.
Wow. Yes,
I upgraded a little bit.
There's a good upgrade.
This one was not $10, but I got it. Fine shirts, $10 embroidered with my logo. I couldn't believe it.
That's a sweet deal.
And then this one is the Nike dry fit polo. It looks a little nicer. The other one's faded out kind of quickly, but this one I think was still $25. Now with that company, you got to watch the deals because one night I was looking and I think this shirt was $35 embroidered. And then the next, I'm like, I'm not paying $35. That's ridiculous, you know. And then the next day I went on and it was $25.
Yeah.
So watch for the deals, but that's where I go. But he said, I don't care where you go. Where does Darren go?
No, it's
apparently you got more pull.
The guys do want, and that's actually a work in progress. Just to let you guys know, because I know when I was starting out, it's like, do I want to invest $800? Because there's these minimum orders, and this was before the internet ever existed. Now it's easier for you guys, and you can find them through like Vistaprint or I don't know what,
everywhere.
But this was one of my ventures that I still participate in, which is the wearables and promotions.
There you go.
So I actually do my own shirts. This one happens to be Sport Tech. I've got endless catalogs. You could fill an entire stadium full of catalogs from the wearables industry. So I actually do my own shirts. I can order them wholesale because I'm still part of that industry. I do my own artwork design. I have to give it to a computer guy so he'll put it in the right format for me. And then I just find my own, what's called a contract screen printer that does contract printing. So I actually do my own shirts. I do the legwork. But like everything else in my life, I'm pretty particular. So I like to spend time picking out just the right shirt or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
So, but that's part of, that professional look.
Right.
So a shout out to you guys. Next, I want to address, why is he holding this microphone, which he will be doing through this whole process. So tell us about your podcast.
So I do the auto detailing podcast, or I don't do the podcast. I host.
You host
the auto detailing podcast, and really kind of like when we started talking last week or a few weeks ago, whatever it was, it was created out of a need to, or a want to help other guys out. Speaking of forums and Facebook groups and stuff like that, there's so much misinformation out there and so much bad information, and something you allude to a lot is not reality.
Yes.
Sometimes they're called keyboard detailers or whatever their title is. That there's all this info out there from these guys that actually aren't really living it. I think, like you like to say.
Yeah, they're essentially the backseat driver.
Exactly.
Or what they call it, the Monday night quarterback. I don't know. I'm not a sports guy, so I don't know.
Something like that. And so I listened to podcasts every day while I was at work. So I thought like one day, like, oh, it'd be cool to have a podcast, but what would I talk about? Like, I have nothing to talk about. I remember even telling someone, like, I don't have anything to talk about. You know what I mean? And then one day it clicked, like, oh, I wonder.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I wonder if there's if there's a detailing podcast out there that I could actually hone my skills and my craft while I'm actually doing this stuff. And I didn't find any. My initial search I couldn't find any detailing podcasts. Yeah. And it was like my light bulb moment, like, oh my gosh, I think I can do the auto detailing podcast. Yes. Are you kidding me? There's no auto detailing podcast. How is this possible? So I ran home and got the domain name, autodetailingpodcast.com and the autodetailingpodcast.com.
So that's how you can find it.
Yeah.
autodetailingpodcast.com.
Yeah. And that'll have a link to how to get it in iTunes or in Stitcher, or they can listen to it right there on the website. I also upload just the audio to YouTube. Yeah. So if they like watching still images with audio on YouTube, you can do that there.
What I did is, when he told me about it, and I'm not tech savvy, which any of my regular viewers know, I'm challenged that way. So I learned only the requirements, put it that way.
Yeah.
But what I did I do have a new iPhone.
Okay.
And so you download the app that allows you to stream podcasts.
It's the podcast app. It should come actually what they call native on the phone. So they shouldn't have to download the podcast app. Okay. It should automatically be on their phone if they're up to date on the recent updates.
I couldn't even tell you how I found it, but I did find it. I remember I had to click install, and it was there. Once I opened that up, then I did a search for auto detailing podcast, and bam, it came right up. Yeah. And then it just shows me your playlist. Yep. And you've got a lot. How many what would be your guesstimation?
Just yesterday I recorded, it won't be out for a couple weeks, but I just recorded episode 180.
Wow.
So there's 180
that's impressive.
Episodes, whether that's just a quick tip of me talking, right, or it's actually sitting down like what we're going to do with this one. This will be an episode, or more recently I just recorded with like a female detailer. Oh, cool. So that was cool. She runs her own shop. And then a brother and sister detailing duo, they call themselves, which was cool. So I try and run the gamut, and it's not just all technique. It's a lot of the detailer's journey into how they got into detailing, why they got into detailing,
which is a perfect parallel to what I'm.
Right.
And I think you would respond in like with this, which is what I'm trying to teach you guys is more than just detailing. What I'm trying to also teach you is what I call life skills.
Right.
So whether you stay in the detailing business or not, these are skills that you can take with you, because I think that everyone should look at themselves as their own business entity.
Yeah.
So what do you bring to the table as a possible employee, or as a business owner, or as a business partner? Never mind being a detailer to your customer. What do you bring to the table? So I'm trying to teach them stuff that I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, tripping over my own feet, awkward moments, go down the list. It's like, you know what? You don't actually have to go through all those bad, difficult, painful experiences if you open your ears and your eyes, ears in this case, ears and eyes in this case.
Right. And that is, I think Chris West was the first person to tell me about you, and the best, he described you as the best detailer no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that's what the title of this episode will be, just to catch eyes. But then when I started looking at your YouTube videos and I started seeing what you were all about, I thought to myself, man, I got to get this guy on the show, because I'm constantly looking for people who share that same philosophy that I do of helping other people out. It didn't seem like you were trying to push one particular product or one particular brand,
or my own specific
or your own agenda. Exactly.
Yeah.
You seem like a real dude who is willing to help other people out, and that is who I look for in a guest. I've had a lot of people write in and say, oh, get this guest on the show, get this guy on the show, and when I go to reach out to them, they're just complete jerks. Yeah. And it's like, hey, I don't, you know, it's funny, an interesting thing when you start growing a following, you kind of get protective over this following.
Yes.
You know, and even though these people that I try and bring in, some have bigger followings than me, I'm like protective of my little flock of following.
Absolutely.
And it's like, well, hey, if this guy's going to be a jerk to me, like off camera, off recording, I don't want to bring him on the show and be like, hey, it's showtime, put on your happy face.
Yeah, by the way, this guy's a complete douchebag.
Yeah.
But I'm going to now connect you guys.
Right. So I've just started to, just because people have big followings, doesn't mean they're nice people.
Right.
Or they are nice people, and
You don't know
I don't
until
know.
you know.
You don't know until you know. But all I can say is, I try and bring real people on to talk about real struggles and give real quality information without some hidden agenda.
Yeah, and I hopefully, and I think most people would agree, is that if you watch enough of my videos, I'm very transparent about my agenda. Yes, I am trying to supplement my income.
Right.
This is how I'm doing it.
Right.
You, on that end, you have no idea the amount of time and effort that goes into this, your podcast, or these videos. It is a daunting
And not to mention that, but we met here at 2 o'clock on a Thursday.
Yes.
And it's summertime.
And we can be out making money.
but it's not an unfair transaction either.
No, it is what I call win-win. Once again,
Absolutely.
to borrow from Stephen Covey.
Yeah.
If both sides are not winning, I'm going to walk away from the table.
Absolutely.
Because I want to win, but I want you to win also. And I truly operate out of a philosophy that the more I can help you guys get what you want, whether it's you, Jimbo, here live, or you guys in virtual land, if I can help you get more of what you want, I know that the universe will respond accordingly. Now, you can say that's all this psycho, mumbo jumbo, babble, whatever. It don't matter. You call it whatever you want. Karma, law of reciprocity. I don't care. It's just that's just what I embrace, that philosophy. So I've told them point blank, yes, I make money when you click on the link and buy something from AutoGeek or Amazon.
Right. Yeah, and what I've tried to do, because I'm with you in that, like, I'm doing this, first of all, I love teaching guys, and I love seeing guys implement the stuff that I teach or say, and they're like, oh my gosh, man, like, stupid,
it worked,
like, the stupid stuff. Like, I had a quick tip one time, and this is off tangent, and this video is probably going to be very long, but for accepting credit cards in the Square Reader, there's a function in there where you can add tipping above the sign.
Wow, that is cool.
And you could do a percentage or a dollar amount. So I had a quick tip on, hey, make sure you have this in there, because
power of suggestion.
Hey, it's just there. They're already running their credit card. It might just be an easy button. And that day, a guy Facebook messages me and says, man, I just got I forget the dollar amount now, $15 or $20 tip.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you just made an extra $20. Yeah. So I hope to not only, in sharing information like that, not only help guys make more money, but also stupid stuff like,
hey, you got a quick question?
Well, yeah, I wanted a business card. You do bumper repair? Is this?
Well, yes, actually, this is okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
My viewers love these candid moments. We just so you guys know, we had a guy. We're in a parking lot at a mall, and we're actually filming a thing here. So, just a quick interruption. I'll give him a card.
Yeah.
Do you do bumper repair or anything?
I don't.
Okay. You gotta.
Tell you what, call me later tonight, and I'll continue in the right direction.
Okay, have a good
day. Take care. See ya. That's real life right there.
Real. I'm getting more real than that.
So, but also helping guys out and like, hey, where do I go to buy my domain name?
Yes.
You know, or how do I host? What is, like, I remember for me, I'm like, wait, it doesn't make sense. You have to buy a domain and then you have to host it. Why is that just not the same thing? Like,
exactly.
I don't get it. So if I can point guys to, hey, check out my affiliate. Yes, it's an affiliate link.
Which means you get a little bit of a commission.
I get a commission for referring you there.
Right.
But not only that, but through my affiliate link, you're going to get a free domain with a hosting plan. And this is the go-to place for hosting or whatever. So it's not just, hey, I've been feeding you all this information. How about you click this thing and make me a few pennies? It's, no, and I'm sure you share the same philosophy as, I'm going to give you even more value in this service. I'm just going to get a little bit in return.
Right.
And it's not even costing the viewer, the listener, any more money.
Right.
We're actually getting the benefit directly from that third-party company.
Which, to reduce it down to the win-win, you know?
Well said.
We've got experience.
Yeah.
We want to share it. We want you guys to win.
Yeah.
It does reciprocate itself, because I have people that say, hey, Darren, like in other countries, I mean, I get people all over the world.
Yeah.
Darren, I can't order that stuff. I can't have aerosol cans shipped overseas or whatever. I wish I could help you out. So what I am going to do is I'm going to make and I've had guys that will literally reach out and say, Darren, can I send you some money? And I'm thinking, you know what? I appreciate the offer. Don't worry about it. I'm just happy to help.
Just give him my address.
Right. That was good. What I am going to do, because I've actually opened up my email and found that someone has literally just given me money through PayPal. It's like, wow, it was totally unsolicited, but they just add a little note. I just wanted to say thank you for all the information.
Awesome.
And it's like, wow, how cool is that?
Yeah.
You know? Was it solicited? Did I say, hey, dude, I'm not going to talk to you on the phone for half an hour unless you, donate to my PayPal account? No, I don't. I wish I had more time to take all those calls, which, we just don't. But this is the value of these videos also, is that we can reach this big audience and we can take an hour to do it.
Right.
But now it is in virtual reality forever until we take it down, and it can just keep paying it forward and forward and forward.
Absolutely.
So now that we've drunk, were you going to add something?
No,
okay.
I was actually had no words to say after that.
Oh, wow.
Surprisingly.
So to get things rolling first, because I want to take you inside, and I plan on doing more of these interviews for you guys, because one of the big things that my viewers, it's like, hey, Darren, take me in. Let me see your setup. Where do you get those? I mean, they ask about everything, the microfibers. How come you don't have a water tank? All those questions. So it's like, hey, I want to bring you guys in to a guy that, how long have you been detailing?
I started my business in May of 2008.
Okay.
So, but before that, maybe a couple years of just kind of tinkering around with my own stuff.
Which is very common, myself included. And people ask, like, oh, when did you start? Well, you define start date, and then I can answer that question.
Exactly.
Because I started in high school.
Right.
In auto shop, my auto shop teacher would have me wash his car.
Right.
So long as I got it mostly right, but had like 5 coats of armor on the tire, he was a happy camper.
Right.
And he so generously gave me a can of soda in return.
Oh, nice.
It's like, wow, thanks, Bob Decius. And if you happen to be watching.
Hey, Bob, thanks for the soda.
Yeah, wow, what a giver. Anyhow, so you've been at it a while. What'd you say, 08 you started?
So it's about going on, I'm getting mixed up as the years go on, but about 7-8 years.
Okay, but the fact is that this is your world now. You do it full-time, correct?
Full-time.
Do you have any employees?
Nope.
Okay, you're like
on
myself.
and off, but I've never been able to find
reliable guy that knows how to work, right?
Exactly.
And that is one of my biggest pieces of advice, because I've been in the business a long time, as most of you know, and I've trained endless guys to either work for me or that have mentored with me or want to just do their own business, whatever. And one of the themes that has revealed itself is that people really don't know how to work, and they grossly underestimate how difficult, as in how hard this work really is.
That's the truth.
Would you agree?
Completely. And that's, I've taken a few guys under my wing, and they said, oh, I've done detailing before, I've done car washing before, whether that's true or not, whatever. Yeah. It's more so like, hey, I'm so busy, just jump in the van and let's go. You know what I mean? And then they work a couple days with me, and they're like, hey man, I need more money. Or hey man, or they just disappear. Yes, that's my favorite. Yes, it's like, dude, where'd you go? Like, what happened to you? So yeah, to try and find, I've always just gone back to, it's for me, and being mobile specifically, it's just too much of a hassle, too much of a headache to not only manage my clients in my days and my weeks and what's going on with the business side of stuff, and then I have to deal with some crony who now managing his schedule too, and relying on him to show up when I got a full day booked. That's happened to me too. I'm overbooked for one guy, and then because I'm depending on my guy to be there, worker, and then he's like, oh, I'm sick, oh, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, and you're screwed.
I'm screwed.
And now you've lost credibility because you've got to call those customers out. Because I promise you, someone's out there that has been in the business a little while, and they're saying, wow, that's not working smart. You guys are working too hard.
Yep.
You need to outsource your labor.
Haven't you read the Emyth?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, we get it.
Right.
And what I was just having this discussion, I don't recall if it was with my wife or someone else. It's like, you know what? I value, the older I get, the more I value my autonomy. And that means my independence. That means that all I have to worry about is me.
Yeah.
Well, I know me pretty well. I'm 50 now. I know me pretty well. And I just have to worry about me and my customer. I know I'm going to be on time. I'm going to do what I'm going to say I'm going to do. And I know that as a rule, I can work circles around most guys that think, hey, man, I love cars. I've worked on my cars myself. I know what I'm doing. It's like, okay, that's one thing. But do you actually know how to work hard and with a level of urgency?
Yeah.
And that's what's difficult as a business owner, is finding that winning combination of an employee, and it's tough. So just like you, it's like, you know what? This may not be under the category of working the smartest, but it's called my value system. And what I truly value is knowing that I don't have to wait for a guy to show up, get a phone call saying, hey, Darren, sorry, I'm running late, or I'm sick. And it's like, oh, yeah, no big deal. We've got 5 cars lined up because I was counting on you. But yeah, I'm sure my customers will understand.
Yeah, no big deal.
So my goal and mission has just to figure out how to become as profitable and efficient as I can by myself, because I know that I'm reliable.
And that's speaking from, didn't you have multiple crews?
I've had,
guys?
at the height of my empire, how about that for dramatization? I had a shop in Santa Ana. I did wholesale work out of it. I had 2 full-time guys that literally did all the wholesale work for a dealer. And he's still in business today, the dealer. It's called Phillips Auto on PCH.
Yep.
We entered into an arrangement, an agreement, business contract, all that good stuff. Did not last very long because, unfortunately, stereotypes exist for a reason. So after we entered that arrangement, he changed the rules. Nice. And it's like, okay, you've shown me, you revealed to me who you really are, and we're going to part ways. In the meantime, I had 2 full guys doing all the wholesale detailing 5 days a week. Then I took in retail work that I would oversee and wedge in between the wholesale stuff. But then I had 4 separate crews that also would operate out of there. They would show up, 4 different trucks. Most of the time I was working out of S10s, little Chevy S10s with a tonneau cover. Everything was neat and tight and fit under that tonneau cover so we could lock it up. And we were going out all over Orange County.
Big time.
Big time headaches is what it was, you know. And at the end of the day, that's why I thought, this sucks. At the end of the year, it's like, yeah, I did $200,000 in business. Wait, how much did Darren make? It's like, are you kidding me? That's what I'm walking away with these headaches?
And that's what, and especially in California. And it was funny, I saw Richard Lynn, who's up in Anaheim.
He's right by me.
Yeah.
He's literally like 3 miles from me.
Yeah, he mentioned something on one of the Facebook groups, and he goes, a detailer was talking about moving to California to start up a detail business. And he said, I don't know why anyone would move to California to start a fixed location detail shop. Just the headaches with OSHA and just all. Anyway, we could
go on forever. Yes. So working smart, to me, that's your value system, and that's one of the things I preach, is that a detailing business, one of the unique things about it is that it literally can be whatever you want. So you can grow it into a behemoth of a machine, and maybe you out there will be better than us sitting right here. Go for it. In fact, I was on a phone call this morning, a friend that I grew up with, who is an attorney in Las Vegas, does not like practicing law. He charges $300-400 an hour, makes a great living, but he doesn't like practicing law. Partnering up with a guy that wants to go into detailing, and I thought, wow, this is interesting. So I spent an hour with him saying, you know what? Believe it or not, I just simplified my world. I've learned how to fly under the radar, avoid the endless, what would I call, over-regulation of this state, where they want to regulate you out of business, essentially. It is not a business-friendly state here in California. So I've learned all these workarounds, how to fly under the radar, and how to become as profitable as possible. And that's what I'm trying to teach my viewers, is it can be much more simplistic than what you are learning on the forums, whether it's car forums or the detailing forums that make my head want to explode.
Well, because you could have a shop and you can have 4 crews going, And that's really cool to say. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's bragging rights.
It sounds awesome, but if your personal income
sucks,
say it's 30 grand a year. I mean, that would really suck, but whatever.
It was a little bit more, but honestly, not much more.
But if you can make that same amount of money,
right,
and be operating just as you are, and I am, just as a one-man crew, and make that same amount of money
part-time,
and work part-time without all the extended headaches that come with running all those crews. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and that's where your value system comes in. And so I know you guys starting out in the business, you probably have these very lofty goals. It's like, oh, I want to shop, I want mobile crew. I don't know what your goal, I don't know what your end vision is. I just know that I've been at that level. I would choose this any day of the week. I am more profitable today, busier, more business than I can handle, and I have complete autonomy, which means it's my schedule. Of course, I work for my customers and I am held accountable to my customers, but I know I'm in control because I can deliver a service that I rarely get to enjoy myself. And that's part of my passion, is giving something that I rarely get, is that experience that includes everything. A guy that shows up on time, he calls the night before to confirm, he does what he says he's going to do, he gets information out of me as the customer that I don't even know to ask, and I'm going to pull that information out of them so I can manage their expectations, deliver on those expectations, and hopefully over deliver on the expectations. So I know that's what I bring to the table. I don't want all the BS that can be out there. Sure, it's less bragging rights, but that's where you need to separate the ego.
Totally.
It's like, okay, at this age, my ego has been tamed quite a bit.
Right.
Doesn't mean I don't still have one.
Right.
I'm still human.
And you're still motivated. You still want, more work, I'm sure, even though you're busier than you can handle. If you lost a big client, you'd still go hustle.
Exactly. Right.
It's not saying any of that. It's just
And the novelty is that as you get enough customer base, you can pick and choose, and you start taking what is called the gravy work. And I like the gravy work, but with that said, I still do the messy work that other people don't want to touch. But trust me, I charge a premium for that work, and so I don't care how dirty I get, because I know I'm walking away making $80 to $100 an hour, and it's like, okay, how much college would I need?
Yep.
And how much of that corporate ladder and corporate BS would I have to climb through and wade through in order to make that kind of money, and still have to show up and be held accountable for all these stupid ass managers, upper management, go down the list.
Yeah, just the inefficiencies.
Oh my gosh, makes my head want to explode.
You know what's funny? I was cleaning a rim one day, and I was on my hands and knees, and I was thinking, man, I don't know. I've never worked, well, I don't know about that, but it's interesting. Detailing is interesting in that you can make really good money doing it. But then you look at some of the things that you have to do.
Yes.
And you're cleaning a rim. Like I just thought, man, I'm filthy dirty, cleaning this dirty rim. Like, this is grunt work, right? Like, I shouldn't be doing this anymore.
So it's like, I'm above this, aren't I? At this age, should I not be above this?
Right. I don't know where I was going with that, but
it's a valid point.
I just remember thinking, like, man, this is weird.
Literally yesterday, I'm in the car with my wife. We're headed to the gym. We like to work out together, and it's important to at least kind of be in shape in this, because it's physical.
I don't know how some guys do it.
Yeah. So I'm looking at her saying, wow, honey, sometimes I am out there working. It's 90 degrees outside. Humidity's like 70%, which I know you guys back east are saying, oh my gosh, that's a cakewalk, you big pussy. It's like, I know it's relative. Here in California, that sucks.
It's hot right now.
And I am dripping wet, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm a 50-year-old guy, and look what I am doing.
I know.
But you know what? Also, the next thought that's going through my head is like, hell no, do I want to be in a cubicle working on a keyboard and making someone else wealthy and not myself.
Great point.
And so it's like trade-offs, and that's what you've got to figure out is what is the winning combination for you. And it will be a moving target. Just when you think you've got your crosshairs on that target, you either get older or a life event happens or something, and you'll reposition. It's like, wait a minute, I used to want that, now I want this.
Right.
But that's what's cool about detailing is
Right.
it literally can scale up, scale down, be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about detailing. So as difficult as it can get with the weather and the hard work, I still wouldn't trade it in.
Right.
And I have tried. I mean, if you read my biography, which I need to update, and I was telling this to my wife and daughter, we were both out the other night, and I said it would be laughable. People would look at it, and relative to society's interpretation of what success is and stability, they would look at that and say, "Oh my gosh, this guy's a whack job," you know?
You failed your way to success.
See, that's one of my favorite sayings. And I use the metaphor of an airplane on autopilot. The elements are constantly pushing that airplane off course, but the autopilot constantly pulls it back on course. And so literally you could say that plane fails its way to its destination or success. And I do the same thing where I know that I will have a vision, and I'm a big fan of Stephen Covey and his 7 Habits. And he talks about having the end. You start with the end in mind. So if you know what you want to end up doing, becoming, creating, then you work backwards from there. Well, guess what? Life is never linear. You're constantly pushed off course. And so you either get back on course, or maybe when you get pushed off, you say, oh, wait, I just gained a new perspective. I actually like this, or I see opportunity in this. Had I been so rigid and hyper-focused, I would have missed this opportunity.
Totally.
So it's constantly responding. It's like, okay, I'm off course. I need to readjust and get back on course. Or it's like, hey, I've been blown off course. Maybe there's some opportunity here. And I have a video about this where it's like, I want these guys to be an idea machine.
Right.
Because there's opportunity everywhere.
Well, and to bring it full circle, maybe, the vision that your viewers have for their detail business is to be that full-blown shop with a bunch of rigs going, and that is their end in mind. But then they have something happens in their life or so, and they realize, hey, I am just a one-man crew, or I am that's the detour that you're talking about. But another thing that, this is totally random, but I just thought of being a mobile detailer, or even a detailer in general, another cool thing of it is that you get to meet so many different people, and you never know the opportunity that comes from that person, that
relationship.
And I can't tell you how many times during the winter months here, what I would call winter.
I know. They're out there laughing. Oh yeah, give me a break, guys. California.
But in the first years that I started detailing, I was slow during those rainy days, you know, and I've sold tunnel covers for customers. I've sold cars on Craigslist. I've sold neon signs.
That's funny you say that, because some of the stuff I've done for my customers, literally, I'm like their errand boy. I am their bitch. It's like, you know what? I am so okay with it. I'll be your bitch all day long, long as I get paid for it.
All day.
And it is interesting because ultimately it is about the relationship, and that's why I just drive it home over and over again about trust. Trust is paramount, because without trust, nothing happens. So everything you do will either develop that trust or it will diminish that trust. And I mean everything, whether it's showing up 2 minutes late. Trust me, there's people out there that are watching their watch. I
have a client with a grandfather clock.
And they literally, and I've had someone say to me personally, they said, wow, Darren, were you waiting around the corner so you could show up and ring my doorbell right at 9 a.m.? It's like, well, no, I wasn't, but I like being prompt. So trust me, there's a lot of quirky people out there, and you are often under a microscope that you do not know is there. And that's why it's like you have to gain a sense of self-awareness, everything you do. And that awareness is also paramount to detailing, because it is all about the details. And I have another video where it's like, if you can't see it, you can't clean it. So if you don't know how to look at a door panel and break it apart, the seams, the nuances, the mesh, the whatever, you can't clean it. So how you get, you can see the obvious.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, it's clean. And then a guy like you or myself come in, it's like, dude,
Yeah, it's filthy.
what about that? What
Right.
about that? What about, oh, well, I didn't know that counts.
Right. Now you're picking apart my van.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Just kidding.
Let me, let's hold that thought. Okay, so Jimbo and myself have just been droning on endlessly recording his podcast, but I did want to take you guys in. So this will likely be either a 2 or a 3-parter. You'll see the links in the videos. You'll figure it out.